Um, hmm. Yep. Oh, I forgot to edit the title. Now I forget the. You know, it's too bad YouTube won't let you play copyright protected music because I know we've been playing any music at all. Except for their own music. So I guess that's a positive and a negative force. It's good to be forced to make your own music to play, even if it sucks. Um, Sometimes kind of hard to find the folder. Uh, Sort by date and just pick way old, like midway. I'm look for what's this? Oh God. Um, Older than that. What's this? Oh yeah, headphones. Headphones. Okay. And now I shall remember to turn off the title. Oh, that's that add-on that won't run sometimes. That's like when it's the MJ harmonic ping only is made by I think some it was Magnus is the name, Magnus Johnson harmonic ping, I think. I can't remember the name of the exact audio company, but it's something Sonics, I think, or Electronics, Smart Electronics. Yeah. So this was all about supposed to be having the hotkeys showing for some basic things in Blender. But we had some intro music that was cool. Um, so the thing is, Blender had eras of hotkey, and if you're starting now, probably you want to know that most things. Oh, we need more things on our list. It's doing multiples. Hey, you found the place. That's terrible. But so your input, your navigation, your key map there. Okay, key map. I use 27x, so everything I'm saying is the other way. The old way. And there are probably a lot of things that I should attempt to try and do with their normal way, but that is only the new way to me. I'm going to stick with the way I know. And that is because most of the things that I'm talking about apply in both ways. Because once you're on a menu, just type the underlined letter And if it's not there, well, it's not a cross OS functionality either. Like if there's this behavior is actually more provided by, like, you wouldn't say the OS, but by a library that Blender uses, which is not Blender itself, and they're just depending on, say, a window drawing library. Because then that window drawing library can link into the OS and provide the underlying functionality. It's I mean, it's some technical detail I ran into somewhere where I'm like, oh, I guess that's why it's not the same on Linux as it is on Mac as it is on Windows. But for whichever you're using, um, for example, I could type Shift S W, and that would put my cursor back in the center of the world. So I click here, you see my cursor. I don't know why it's not in cursor mode. Okay, so you have a mode here, and cursor mode is the old way, just normal. It's You can have this if you want these things, but all these things, the point is that you might as well just think of it as a vocabulary with your fingers instead of a place you have to go click. But there are some things you can get to through only this means, like the mode where you draw on things with the grease pencil. And so whichever one you want to leave it on, just be aware, like, the normal old way was just this. We really didn't have all these in the old days, so to speak. You want to get rid of your drawing part, like if you accidentally drew on the screen and you don't know where that is, go back to the place and look at the top here, and they have this X. We'll just delete all that. It's kind of heavy-handed but you know, if you want to just get rid of it real quick, that's what you do. So the hotkeys are always delivered to whichever window has the focus and whichever region of that screen. They call it a screen, and then there's several layers deep when you get down to this. Where does the hotkey go? But they go wherever your mouse is, and so Shift S W. Put the cursor back at the center is Shift S W, and you can grab an. If you want an object back at the center, it's Alt G. Oh, they want to play some kind of my attempt at classical. Well, it's a short song. Well, it's not classical, but it's those instruments. So G for grab, and Alt G to ungrab. Ungrab means it's back at the origin. Alt R clears the rotation, and obviously R to rotate. S for scale. These are the known hotkeys for by the initial Blender user, like everyone knows those. But Alt R, Alt G, and Alt S on an object will clear the rotation, the scale, and the location all back to reset individually. Alt G, R, S could be in any order either. Man, you're just too loud. So once you learn about tabbing into an object, you have different modes to control tab 1, or just in the normal sense, if I switch over to the regular Blender hotkeys, then I just press 1, 2, 3. I press 3 and I click I don't know what's up with my, oh yeah, you have to use the other mouse button, but I'm gonna switch back because that's ridiculous. Most of the time the hotkeys get you exactly where you want to go, like Alt S for swell, or Alt Shift S for it's a different shrink and fatten. It's different from the scale and the normal shrink fatten. There's like two different variations. I don't know what the difference is there, but Control Alt Shift S is the shear one, and it still shows up as shrink and fatten. That's weird. No, okay, shear. This down here is called the operator, the current active operator display. And if it's not visible, or you just want to see it like wherever under your mouse, you press F6. So, you know, this could be there and you still just press F6 and you see that. Shift A, and if you're in, that's the add menu. And in a lot of places in Blender, like if I make this I'm going to Shift F3, have a node editor. And actually I have to Shift F3 until it looks like one on top. And so home and like Shift A are important to know in the node editor at first. Once you do Shift A, you have all the underlined letters. So I, G would be a geometry, or Shift A, I, X would be a texture coordinate. Shift A, I, U would be a UV map. These are all inputs types. Shift A. Let's try Shift A, H for shaders. And so like obviously you can learn the ones you need to add a lot. Just easy Shift A, H, M for a mix. Shift A, H, L for a volume, etc., etc. So there's some shaders. Shift A. Let's try another on this menu. Shift A, T, T. What's that? So the easiest one to do, even though image texture, why the T? Why wouldn't they put the I? Shift A, T, I. That's the IES. IES1. It has more I in its I-ness in its name, I guess. Or maybe image texture was just the most common, so double tap T. It's just X here. Let's X a few so that we can home in better. Why don't you come over here? Okay. Control up if you want a window to just be all by itself. Shift A. A really common one to need is the math node. So that's going to be converter math. So Shift A, in A, and then you now have your ready to do whatever you were going to do with it. See, I don't know what, I mean, I have no plan. I should force myself to use these nodes. No. Delete. Shift A, in X. What's that? That's, you want some XYZs. Shift A, in R. You wanted that, the RGBs then, huh? So yeah, definitely learn that for your OS, and don't expect it to all be the same across the OSs, because that's not actually, it's not, it's a bit much, I think, for the Blender developers to expect at this point. It would be nice, but yeah. So you get Shift up back out of there and Shift back to the viewport here where we haven't added anything. Let's add an icosphere. What would that I don't care. I just wanted the menu. Um, so yeah, keeping your hand on Shift A in Blender is kind of habitual because it's near enough to home row, you know, like, and it's good to, in general, do the typing from the F's and the J's, writing your P's and Q's and all that. Blender hotkeys for um, over here. It's not like we have any hotkeys uh, in these sorts of places that I know of. Besides, if you have a button, you can, if there's a button that does something, you can press enter over it, and if it's the last thing you did, it will just keep pushing that button. But it's not just like you can just push enter all over the push return on different places. They don't. Well, yeah, it's basically like selecting what's under your mouse without clicking. Enter. Enter. So if you like to move your hands all over the keyboard, I suppose there's that. Or I could just put my mouse there and hit enter and use the arrow keys and hit enter, etc., etc. So hotkeys in Blender, but the ones you should, as you learn them, you just look at where it says next to it. You'll see if you. I suppose that might be some interface thing. I'm assuming it's just fixed, but all the hotkeys are, if they're assigned, they show next to an operator where applicable. There's not everything in that is displayed operator wise. Sometimes they're transient and it wouldn't make sense. But if you see something you want to assign that is not there, or if you want to change it, you can right click. Say, for example, you would do that for, I guess, from a more blank canvas of your default startup blend is I'm pretty sure that's where the hotkeys go unless something has changed drastically. So like where you could go over here in your preferences and do it, and you can add them one by one. And how it happens is well, we won't get into that, but it just needs the name, and then it gets some properties and stuff, and they're all hooked up magically. And what you want to do is hook an operator to a key, so you're mainly concerned with where, like, even if it's not on a menu, you can still use the spacebar menu or the search menu. I guess they might have done F3. No, no. Okay, for in my hotkey scenario, that's the spacebar, and I could type for something like, I'm gonna be in curve mode where it's applicable. So Shift A. What's this? C. There I am. Okay. So I'm in edit mode on this Bezier circle here, and that, you want to see it again. X, Shift A, C, C. There you go. So you want to circle here. Shift A, C. What about the other kind? U. There's a NURBS. I'll put it back in the middle. Quick note, look, they're different. You know that, right? NURBS and Bezier circles are for different applications, and you wouldn't use the wrong one in the wrong place, would you? Or wouldn't want to. So yeah, like some curves are more mathematical, and some are more visually easy, simple. Anyway. The most best hotkeys that I know after dwelling on it for a minute here is Shift S U and Shift S T. If you want to put something at a place and you don't know how to save that place temporarily, you can grab something that, if you have a way to grab something that represents that place, even if it's like the, say, the midpoint between three things. Let's try that. Shift SU. And now we want to go to some other object and say, well, now we have that place. We could just ACC there. Now we have that circle at that spot. Or let's grab some part of something. And we'll see, we're going to put that handle Shift S2. No, it's T. So yeah, Shift S U and Shift S T. Let's see right here, Shift S U. There's the cursor. And then what will you do? Put the other one there, Shift S T. Here in this curve mode, while I'm at it, I'll hold out some more Alt C. I'm not in curve mode. Inside. Yeah, Alt C is cyclic. And oh, I was here trying to say how to make a new one. So you have some nice things on the select menu when you're in curve mode, like select first or deselect first or next. You actually have to have something selected for that to apply for the next. 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 Look at those though. Select linked, Control L. That's a very handy one. Doesn't everyone know that one? They should. Control L. It's already selected. And now my mouse is just kind of over here. Control L. Selected them all. Now that's different from having them not selected and then just holding your mouse and saying L. 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 You see? Like if I'm here in individual origins, they don't work so well with curves. They just don't. But we could try and convert these to meshes and see what happens. Alt C, and it looks like an M, so Alt CM to convert to a meshes from a curve there. And now I have, notice these are just little. Now it's not a curve anymore. Just to make note. Let's see. So L, L, L. It also works here in most places in Blender. L. Like if I unwrap these with a U and hit return, and then go over Shift F10. Well, the right number of times, damn it. What have they done? Oh, where are we here? Come on. Shift F5 back and find out what's going on. I did UV on there, is that right? Just to make sure that it's what is the, it even says UV map right there. Oh, they've all landed right there. Well, that's not a happy on what the heck? Smart UV. Okay, what happens now? Okay, so it did a better job. There's different types of UV unwrap, by the way. So here, let's unselect everything and press L here and see what happens. L, 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 L. Or I could just grab one point of this one little bit and say Shift, Control L, not Shift L. Right. E. Yeah, that one doesn't. It just does something weird. So let me try Alt L real quick. I've never tried Alt L. Nope, there's nothing there. So you could use Alt L for something. Let's try. What's Alt in? Dang. I wanted to have next and wait, previous. What would be Alt P? Pin. No, unpin. How can I clear? Yeah. Just P, P. I mean, I know what pin is, but I'm trying to find a hotkey that would go with. Wait, I'm thinking about this in curve mode. Let's get back with this curves. So curve next is they have an X and a P, so we already had that. Anyway, so we'll select a point on this. Maybe subdivide it a little bit. The W, yeah, definitely the W menu on curves, and then so let's subdivide it again. That way we can just see individual points. Hopefully. So I'll select one and do select next, but instead of just clicking it on the menu, right click it, assign shortcut, and I'm going to do, what was it? Alt. I don't know. Hey, that's where hotkey viewer comes in, actually. Sometimes. It's just hard to use. Like, the idea is there. I haven't figured out how to use it. I just sort of made it. Alt. I don't know why it even gives it that. Like, why can't they just be one? But anyway, hey, wait a minute. What do I gotta do here to get, oh, right. I always forget. Damn it. Moto. Well, we got some left alt things. That's not what I'm looking for. Let's just be them. There are a lot of things for X. So they have a Shift X. They didn't have an Alt X. Maybe you can't trust all the variations sometimes. Like maybe, but there's some that you always find out. Oh, that just can't be mapped, or that the OS will swallow that one. So sometimes mnemonic hotkeys are hard. Let's try. I know. I could think of one. Yeah, get this thing closed. Normal. Select next. Could be. I wish it only selected the next, not like just move up the selection. But anyway, select next. Could be just one. Right click, assign shortcut. What about Alt? That. Will it work? Okay, let's try it. Cool. Look. Handy, I'm sure. Maybe in some way. And then what about previous? Let's select previous. assign shortcut. Undo Alt the other bracket. All right. And it just goes the other way. I swear those used to work differently, but or maybe not. So watch what happens. Oh no, they're gonna be gone, aren't they? Well, let's make a curve. X that to Shift A, C, C, and inside a curve, tab, and they're still there. That is great, isn't it? I mean, so let's do something. I'm gonna do D. The first and the last one would be, I guess I'll try, wait, oops, right click. So the first one will be, I'm gonna do Alt Shift bracket. Did it work? Let's see. From nothing selected, I'm gonna try it. It selects the first, okay, so then I'm gonna try select, deselect last, and assign shortcut. Alt Shift that bracket. The curly one, but it's just going to say Shift. So let's try it. And then just close. And try Blender again. What is this? Oh, this is Christmas music from last year. Oh, whoops. It's orange. And it's right next to it. Select in the curves. Where am I? Oh, that's not, I'm not in it. Okay, select. Yeah! Isn't that wonderful? So that's how you do it, and if you accidentally do it without knowing that it happens, well, let's show how to undo it. I don't want to. I have to re-undo it. But right click and remove shortcut. Well, okay, I don't have to, I'm not going to do it, but there it is. So that's a sort of a basic rundown on just like a few enough hotkeys, except for, my god, there. Like when you select one of these, let me show what happens when this curve is it's the active curve, so I'm gonna make something to not be the active curve. So, spline, not curve. Like when you're inside of a curve, what you're talking about is splines. So I have this spline here and that spline there, and whichever one you have selected last is the active curve, active spline. I always say it wrong too. Let me try my new hotkey. Oh look, if I have them both off, it will make more sense. But so those are the considered to be the end and the beginning of the spline, and it's cyclic. And so Alt C makes them not cyclic, but what happened is these in Bezier curves it's slightly different, but the type, if you have the V menu, the handle type is automatic. So like let's make there's a circle here, and let's hide the rest of them for a second here so you can see what I'm talking about. This I'm gonna select all of them and press V, aligned, and see they've changed color. There's a bit of color coding on the handles for Bezier splines, and so it's when I Alt C, notice that you have a section here and a section here, they weren't automatic. They were already set. So remember, if you're going to make a circle or some arc, convert, like if you're about to cut a section out of a curve manually, you have to, like, let's say I would subdivide it, I guess, or do something like, select this and go W subdivide and turn that up a couple times. So, you know, odd or even, whatever you're going for. And then grab the two handles on either side of the cut. I mean, the two, not handles, but the control points. So they're not visible all the time. These two, I would say, hold shift and do. Oh, my caps lock is mapped to escape, and I was missing it. Okay, so Alt C. Where does it oh wait, not Alt C. X. It's X that segment. Now let's change these over somewhere. Well, it won't matter there, but let's see, try that. X this segment. You see the way that they're pointing at each other? Now I'm going to grab some other part. So this and this here. We'll subdivide a couple times. Do that again. Do. Except for they were supposed to be V type automatic. And so they're yellow. So you select them now, you can see these pink. These are all pink-ish, and these are yellow, orange-ish. And so I'm going to make a cut here like I did on that one. Move them up a little bit. See how they move around, and then I'm going to say X that segment, and they go bonk. And you're like, wait, that's not what I wanted. So you end up going, oh man, trying to get, like, how do you end up with just those selected? You know, you're like, oh man, I gotta turn on you end up having to go over to the view menu or the gizmo thingers and wondering, wait, no, the overlays. Yeah, I meant overlays. Show me the handles. What is it? What am I looking for? Why are they not right there? Handles. Handles. Selected all. So there, if you really want to get down to working on a Bezier curve, you have to change your overlays now. And that is new. But there, now we can see the handles to select just those two handles. They would otherwise be invisible. So, so Bezier, I'm going to jump over to NURBS, I guess. No. I'm going to leave those. I'm just going to jump over to a drink of water. No. Now that's what I needed. So, make your own hotkeys, and you don't really have to worry about it. And it's been changed so recently where you didn't have to worry about it after then. Like, I'm pretty sure you used to have to remember save your hotkeys with your user preferences, like, but I guess once they finalized that transition over to automatic user preferences, they eventually got the rest, and it's now just really handy to have, like, now I can select all of them. Those are the ends of these curves. So I'll see them. See. Oh no, you're not stuck in repeat randoming things. Oh. Oh, what's that? Um. So more hotkeys. How about let's Alt C M that and make it something, I don't know. Yeah. So as you can see, W is so common I forget to even say it. But like here in a mesh edit, W brings up the, depending on what context you're in. Let's go like I'm gonna Shift Tab 3, be in face mode. W brings up the face context menu, and so W is just called context menu because let's try and stub you over the timeline or the dope sheet. Look, there's stuff down here. It comes up from W. And back over in the mesh land, Control W is, oops, Control W is, what? Is trying to close the window because I guess it's not what I'm looking for. Shift W. Whoa, I've never Shift W'd. Control E is the edge menu if you're not in that. And Control V is the vert menu if you're not in that. Control F is the face menu if you're not in that, but you still have the W. Or really, you just have to use them all. Use them all. Sorry, it's not Control W. It's Control E, Control F, and Control V. Yeah, this is a synth preset. One of those synth presets that just plays one note like this. But, it was its own little song. It's a happy little synth. Yeah, that's it for the hotkey ramblings. But anyway, Shift S. Let's review the best of the best. If you learned anything, is to grab something, Shift S U, and then you can grab something else and Shift S T. So that's pretty handy. And there's a lot of ways to move the cursor around and make use of that. Or Shift S, something else like W. If you get your cursor off and you'd rather have it back in the center, Shift S W is the most commonly used thing that I know. Like I like to work off the origin, so when I make something I have it in this, build it here and then maybe put it somewhere else. But if you click somewhere, then you end up with a whole bunch of wanting to put your cursor back. Shift S W. Yep. Now it's just playing random stuff. Yeah. Just random stuff. What is that? Oh, those were just recorded MIDI patterns, I think. Oh, I like this one. I'll leave with this one off.